Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me, my latest video. And my guest today is a very special guest who I've been trying to interview for a while, but he's been very, very busy. International jet setter and one of the leading lights of T20 cricket, one of South Africa's brightest shining stars in T20 cricket, Tabraiz Shamsi. Tabraiz, very warm welcome to you.
Thank you. It's nice to finally being able to catch up with you.
How's things? On a break at the moment in between tours?
Yes. Finally on a break. I was just saying to my wife, I don't think I've had a break this long, probably in the last 5 years. So it feels a bit weird as well, not having cricket for such a long time. Because as you know, nowadays cricket's very different. We're always moving from place to place. So yeah, on a nice long break at the moment.
Hobbies and interests outside cricket. We just know you as an international cricketer, a family man. What else do you like to do with the Tabraiz in your spare time?
Look, I think COVID turned a lot of us into gamers. We were stuck in bubbles. And the only way we could actually socialize and interact with each other was over gaming. So yeah, I like to play a little bit of Call of Duty. It has a nice social element. You can log on and with the rest of the squad and put your headphones on and your mics and stuff and still sort of play like a team sport, if you want to put it. So yeah, I like doing a little bit of that. My little son, he enjoys fast cars thanks to his granddad. So I'm not really a car enthusiast, but because he loves cars, I try and spend a little bit of time with him and my car because I see it makes him happy. So yeah, other than that, any off time is much appreciated, and I'd like to spend that at home, to be honest.
Who's the best player on Call of Duty apart from you?
Jeez, no, I'm absolutely useless. I'm just there for the banter. I'm there for a good time and to make the boys laugh. Look, there's a lot of guys that are very, very good at it. In the South African international team, Vian Mulder, he's probably one of the best. Yeah, he takes it quite serious, but I know a couple of the English boys are very, very big on that.
What about other sports? I mean, South Africa is very famous for rugby, and we all know about the interest in football as well and various other sports. Are you a fan of other sports?
Look, I love watching all different sports. Being somebody that's a sportsman, I can appreciate the things that go behind the scenes and what the players and the sportsmen have to go through in order to be on the screens. So I enjoy watching all the sports. As for playing, look, all the sports were available at school for us to enjoy, but I was just crazy about cricket, so that's all I played. I didn't really utilize any of the other sports. All I wanted to do was play cricket. So yeah, I played a couple of games of rugby here and there, but in terms of watching, I love watching football. When the Springboks are playing, I watch a bit of rugby as well. And now everybody's into Formula One too, so that's quite interesting as well.
In terms of football, who's your favorite team and favorite player?
Look, I'm not a fanatic like most of the other guys, but I support Chelsea. I get a lot of stick for that.
My commiserations.
Yeah, hasn't been the greatest of times for us lately, but that's how sports goes. I'm a true fan through and through. I enjoyed the good times, and now I have to be with the team. When they're going through a rough patch as well.
You've played all around the world, from Asia to some great stadiums in South Africa, Australia, England, etc. If there's one stadium that you would class as your favorite one, which one is it?
Look, like you said, there are a lot of beautiful stadiums around the world, but for some reason, the one stadium that sticks out to me is the Adelaide Oval. It's probably because I made my test debut. It was the first day-night test match that South Africa played. So everything that just combined in that, at that point in my career, I was big. into Test cricket, from a personal point of view, because I always thought that was the first format that I would play for South Africa in, because, growing up and coming through the ranks, I was big on red ball cricket. I actually wasn't seen as a white ball bowler for a majority of the period. In my younger days, everyone saw me as a red ball bowler. So you tend to focus a lot more on that. And even though I had played for South Africa in ODI cricket before that, for some reason that just sticks out to me big time, especially because how much emphasis Australia also gives to Test cricket. So the atmosphere around that, being a day-night Test match. And I batted quite well too, so I think maybe that has a lot to do with it. Facing Mitchell Stark and Josh Hazelwood and those boys under lights. So that I think that also adds to it, to be honest, not just the bowling part.
Which is the favorite place that you like to visit? Again, you've traveled all around the world. Which is that one destination that you always like to go back to and you enjoy?
I think countries like Australia, the UK, those are type of places that are quite easy to tour, because it's easy to get around. It's nice to be able to see different cities and things like that. So I'd have to pick the UK as a favorite spot. It's also family friendly, because now I'm married. I have a kid as well. So I think those are aspects also that make these sort of decisions for you in your head. If I look around and see where do I have the most fun with my family, and I would have to pick the UK in that sense. There's so much things for the children to do, on your off days or as soon as training's done, you can just pick up and just take a stroll down the road and just find different things for them to do.
You went to Pakistan recently for the Pakistan Super League, Tabraiz, playing for the Karachi Kings. How was the experience of being in Pakistan?
Oh, that was awesome. Funny enough that it didn't feel that odd, because we had just recently been there with the national team as well. So that was quite nice. I was supposed to play in the test match in Karachi as well, but unfortunately I woke up with a bit of a, back injury that morning. So that was quite disappointing. But to be able to play for Karachi Kings, it almost, and my first PSL game was also in Karachi. So that sort of, came full circle and felt really nice, that I don't know. I think I didn't mention to you previously that I've always had a goal from a young age, especially when I started playing international cricket, to be able to play in the best stadiums in the world. That's something that I would like to tick off. And I was very, very happy I got to play in Lahore at the Gaddafi Stadium. That was quite impressive. It's obviously one of marquee stadiums around the world, if I can put it that way. It's definitely, one of the most respected in Pakistan as well. So to be able to play in Karachi, that was quite nice as well, because I missed out playing in a test match there, but at least I got to make my debut in the PSL in Karachi. So that was quite special.
So you got to make your debut eventually after having to sit and watch a few matches. What went wrong for Karachi Kings, Tabraiz?
Look, the funny thing is that even though I think we had one game out of 5, we still had a positive net run rate, and that's something that I've never seen in a T20 competition, especially because it gets so close. So it was weird, we'd lost the game by 3 runs, then lost the game by 1 run, then lost. It was weird ways that we were losing games, but the game that we won by a huge margin. And even moving forward into the rest of the tournament after that 5-game stage, our net run rate was still so high. It was remarkable that for a team that hadn't won so many games, the net run rate still being positive. So that, the way I can assess it, it was just small patches in a game that hurt us so badly that we ended up losing. So, and that's T20 cricket. You have to be on. For 20 overs, there's a batsman that can take the game away from you within 10 balls or 5 balls. There's an over in the match that can completely change the whole result. So I think that's the way how I assessed our campaign. It was frustrating, of course, as players, because for large parts of the game, you're in the game, and then something happens and you lose. So yeah, naturally very disappointing because I'm somebody that, wherever I go, I want to win that trophy. I'm not just happy being there and, taking part. So yeah, quite frustrating that we couldn't make it further. But I'm sure, those things will be addressed, and we were addressing it. But that's T20 cricket, right? On the day, anything can happen.
And what about Pakistani food? How did you enjoy that? Any favorite dishes?
It's always amazing. I was lucky enough to be with Imran Tahir in the same team as well. He loves his food. So from that point of view, I didn't have to worry too much. I knew that we'll always be taken care of because he thinks of food first and everything else later. So yeah, I didn't really have to worry about that.
This is a tricky question for you, I think, Tabraiz, but I'm sure you'll answer it. Who is more difficult to bowl to, Babar or Virat Kohli?
Look, they obviously both, great bowlers, great players. Bowl to both of them. I still have to get Baba's wicket. I do know that, but I haven't had many opportunities to bowl at him. Look, I'm gonna leave it at both of them being great players, and there's a reason why they've dominated world cricket the way they have. Um, and I think we shouldn't try and try to look for an answer as to who's better because they're both unbelievable in their own skills, and that's why they win games for their countries.
You've bowled to many great batters over the years. Who's that one opponent who you always see as your toughest opponent, the most challenging batsman that you bowl to?
So this is someone that um I didn't play against a lot, but he was my teammate once. And that's when I realized like I'm struggling to bowl to this guy. Those sort of players are actually what brings the best out of me because I've always had this thing from a young age that I always want to bowl to the best. You've asked me about Virat, you've asked me about Babar. Um, and I mean I could tell you that look, I know in my mind that I still need to get Babar out because I haven't got his wicket yet. And I've had this thing that, once I retire, I need to know in my mind that all the great batsmen of my era, I've got them out at least once. And this guy, I did manage to get him out, but he was my teammate at RCB during the IPL, Chris Gale. And, just bowling to him in the nets, I found it so difficult because he's so tall. And then you realize, as you get older, because when I got to the IPL and at RCB, I was quite young, I was inexperienced. I hadn't even played international cricket at that stage. And then I realized why he was so destructive, especially against spin, because he's so tall. There's a general length that you would normally bowl, which is a hard length for batsmen to hit. But because he's so tall with his reach and his strength, he would just reach forward and smash you over your head. And then when you pull your length back, because he's so tall, he just rocks back and swivels and smashes you at deep mid wicket for six. So that's one guy that I found really difficult to bowl to, and somebody that I feel I struggle to the most.
You mentioned about the nets. So imagine the scenario. It's probably a situation that you've come up against many times. In one net, you've got Nokia bowling. In the other net, you've got Rabada bowling, and you've got the pads on. Which net would you go to out of the two? And they're bowling full steam.
I'm not going to any of them. I'm actually I'm not batting that day, to be honest. And I don't have to sit here and act brave and make huge calls. Look, if we were sitting together and we've had these chats a number of times, during training, to their faces, I would tell them, come and bowl that and I'll smash you and whatever. But the reality is, if the two of them are bowling, I wouldn't go and bat. But um, I also do know that, they'll be sensible. I think Anrich a little bit more than KG because KG has a little bit of a naughty streak in him. So he might just bowl a bouncer. But this thing, funny enough, it actually happened before the 2021 World Cup in the UAE. We were at the IPL. I was playing for Rajasthan Royals, and I ended up having to face Nokia. It was Delhi Capitals against Rajasthan, and I walked in and I was facing Nokia, and you know, before going into bat, obviously looking at the screen and seeing that he's bowling 140 plus, I was quite scared, and I just had this thought to myself, you know, I hope he realizes that we're gonna be teammates in a week's time, playing in a World Cup for our country, trying to win that World Cup. So, I really hope he doesn't do anything silly. And yeah, thankfully, he didn't do anything that he wasn't supposed to do against me.
What's the best thing about being an international cricketer, apart from, the fans adoring you guys and traveling the world and playing with some great cricketers and against some great cricketers? What's the best thing about being an international cricketer?
I think the first thing for me that jumps out is that whoever's playing international cricket, we at some stage, not at some stage, I can guarantee that we all dreamt of being there. Whether we were as soon as we started playing cricket, or whether it was after school, or when you start playing first class cricket, when you think, hey, maybe this might be a reality for me. Every single one of us on the field dreamt of being there one day. And the more you do it, the more years that pass by. Maybe some people take it for granted. Maybe it just becomes a job and stuff like that. So for me, that's the best thing. We've all prayed for those days. We've all sat on the other side of the TV, watched older players, and wish that we were there playing for our country. So for me, that's what brings me the joy. About being an international cricketer. And then as it happens, you start realizing that, the sacrifices that you've had to make there. And it's not only you, it's people behind you as well. We're hardly at home. There's wives, there's children that also miss out on having a father and a husband. So besides the aspect of being a player, you also have a duty as a father and a husband to make sure that you go in and do well for them too, because they also sacrificing behind the scenes. So for me, that's the beauty of it. Playing for people that are supporting you, and also the people that are, that have been there along your journey. I think that's the beautiful part. And that's why I like to celebrate and enjoy myself when I'm on the field. Some people might not like it, but for me, it's just realizing that it's not a permanent thing, right? Whether at the age of whatever, people retire at different ages. Some people don't get to choose when they want to retire. They don't have that opportunity. So, I want to enjoy it because I know I've worked really hard. There's people behind me that have made a lot of sacrifices. So I need to go there and make memories until it lasts. Because one day we're going to be back behind the TV screen and not be able to be on it, right? And for me, that's what makes it special.
And if there was one thing that you could change about modern day cricket, what would that be?
I think the balance between bat and ball, it is getting a bit ridiculous. I know it's supposed to be light-hearted and fun, but I think it is, balance is something that we do need to look at. And you can see, especially now in ODI cricket, because everyone's trying to keep it alive, I feel like it's gotten a little bit ridiculous, where it's flat wickets, small boundaries. Maybe there needs to be a standardized boundary sizes just to make sure that, it's even playing field, like even people want to see fours and sixes, of course, but people that actually enjoy the game and understand the game, they could appreciate 250 getting chased down less than if a team makes 130 and defends that in a T20 game. And I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about, because that's what brings the contest in. That's what brings the skill of the players in. So I think that's something that if it could be changed, obviously it's not going to happen. It's wishful thinking. Scores are just getting higher. But yeah, as a bowler, maybe I'm a little bit biased, but that's how I feel things need to be done.
My final question to you is about Chelsea. Who should be the next manager, Tabraiz, of Chelsea? Who's going to lift them back to the near the top of the Premier League and back into Europe?
Look, I see Frank Lampard is back there now, right? Just as an interim. I don't know. I think as a manager, you only have that much influence. It's got to be up to the players. But then again, that's why I'm a cricket player. I can't have an opinion on football. So I leave it to the people that are in charge to decide. And I'll try and support the team as best as I can.
Tabraiz, a pleasure speaking with you. I wish you all the best for the future. And you're somebody who, as you say, enjoys your cricket. You bring a smile to the fans' faces. So keep doing that. And wherever you are, wish you all the success. And I wish Chelsea all the success as well, even though I'm not a Chelsea fan.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, my brother. It's really nice chatting to you. And we'll do it again soon.
Thank you very much, Tabraiz. All the best.
Thank you.